Greetings and salutations, folks. My name is Nick, and welcome to Coffee Talk, Episode 2, Hibiscus and Butterfly, where... What happened last time? Last time, Hyde realized that he might be in need of a new career. Well, he already knew he was in need of a new career, but he might have figured out which career that was. There was a little bit about potential character development for the barista themselves, as the barista appears to be an immortal being of sorts. While Lua has come to a realization which she needs to do in regards to her upcoming wedding ceremony with Bailey's, and that's talk to each other, which is, I think, probably the biggest message that this game really has, is that you have all of these people who have their own separate problems, but only by talking to each other, by communicating, they're actually able to move past their issues. But not all of us have somebody to talk to. Not all of us have a friendly barista and surprisingly well-timed fellow patrons. Let's check Tomato Chill. A girl always has her secrets. And whatever that post was about, I guess is one of those secrets. Top of the morning, y'all. Hungover but feeling awesome. If you can convince yourself you're feeling awesome while hungover, good luck. Just spent almost 2 hours checking on the mobile games in the App Store. The amount of copycat games are just staggering. It is amazing how many mobile games are just what this other game did, but with different sprites. Like, it's hard enough for any individual game to kind of stand out against the market, but when their market is filled with Me Too's. No delivery today. We'll resume tomorrow. I wonder if she's doing any auditions today, or practicing her soprano, or uploading a video. Good evening. Oh, by the way, somebody just came in. That's Georgie. Officer, welcome. Hey, barista. How are you doing? Officer? Oh, sorry. My mind is kind of elsewhere right now. No worries, work issues? What else? Well, I mean, there's also the family issues. You mentioned that in, like, the first day, about how you had some issues with your daughter and your wife, and that only kind of popped up once more. I'm all ears if you want to chat. You're a pal. I'm in a real bind, barista. What happened? Well, never-ending workplace issues aside, things are getting weirder by the minute, and I'm feeling out of my depth. Are you talking about your recent patrols? Yeah. I've been analyzing the CCTV footage the last couple of days. Oh, I see. How did that go? Did the cameras manage to capture anything? Yes and no. The infrareds caught a couple of blurry things. They ran off, turned a corner, and disappeared. Could have been anything, like rats or cats, but neither fits what I heard on the scene. The footsteps, you know, the laughter. Come to think about it, it sounded more like giggles. Giggles? Can werebeasts giggle? Not at that size, no. Even if they could, it doesn't explain the footsteps, really. I see. Do you know why the satyrs from France are more musical than the ones from America? 'Cause they have French horns. Sorry, not sorry. So what's next? That was a nice attempt, Lucas. I'll give you that. I have some ideas, but they're just wild theories at this point. In short, I'm stumped. You know, barista, I've been racking my brain ever since Miss Riona dropped that bomb about the fairies, you see. Oh, what about them? As it turns out, fairies was an umbrella term for many types of beings. Anything that didn't fit the known physical rules at the time was to be referred to as such. Huh. That is an interesting idea. Or concept. Like, for any sort of fantasy universe, is to take any specific well-known term and then turn it into slang, turn it into a category as opposed to a specific thing. Oh, huh. Does that mean banshees were part of the fairy folk? Probably. Not anymore, though. It's an ongoing process, but the list is getting shorter. But then you could say, like, hey, if we're going to look at all of extraterrestrial life, right now, all of extraterrestrial life is going to be labeled as ETs, as aliens. Like, if there was alien life on every planet of this solar system, like, Martians show up, Jupiterians, Saturnians, Venusians. There are other planets. Plutoians. Pluto having been reinstated as a planet. Since the discovery of its race that lives on it. But, like, the first discovery of these aliens. Okay, let's make a video game reference. Mass Effect. Mass Effect, when you first discover when Earth first discovers aliens, which would be the Turians, there is the first contact war. To the humans in Mass Effect, discovering the Turians, like, they don't know they're called Turians, they're just called aliens. And they discover that there are other aliens besides the Turians. There's the Asari, there's the Solarians, there's the Krogan. It is only by knowing them more specifically. Now, the problem is, most likely at the time of this game, the term fairy folk is more derogatory, because people would probably be more aware that there are differences between these different these different races, and they just don't know them. Or they're ignorant of knowing them, and they are choosing not to know. But back then, any sentient being that was even remotely incomprehensible was considered that. And that includes apparitions. Apparitions. Yes. Also, Barista is just such a solid snake in this game. I almost feel like redubbing Barista's voice to just try to be a solid snake impression. Maybe at least only for the Barista's responses that are just a repetition for what other people say. Apparitions like ghosts. 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 I see. What do you mean? What do you mean I see? Huh? Doesn't it sound like a bad joke to you? I'm not sure I follow. I like how well timed the weather was. Bud, come on. Ghosts don't exist. Do they? 'Cause if they do, all I can think about is that damn tree now. Ah, right, the tree. Does that mean it's haunted? It could be. Ah, how am I going to arrest a ghost? Don't get how you can be so calm about this. Huh? Well, why wouldn't I be? I ain't afraid of no ghosts. I mean, there have been all sorts of customers here. Some of them are so out of this world even, sometimes literally. You're right. I guess you're not the one who's being weird here. Don't say that. Everyone has their own peccadillos? True that. If you don't mind telling me, though, may I ask the reason you're so afraid of ghosts? Gosh, no. That's a long story. Not something I'm ready to talk about anyway. That's understandable. All you need to know is my fear was never caused by actual ghosts. Oh? Did you watch a movie that spooked you as a kid? Suggestion is a very powerful thing, Barista, but that's all I'm willing to share for now. The rest will have to wait for Coffee Talk, Episode 3. Strawberry and pineapple. Okay, thanks for sharing. You know, it's funny. My grandpop was very into this stuff. So is my daughter. They're like my opposites, very curious and fascinated by the unknown. Not that I'm not, mind you. It's just that with my time as a cop and all, unknown variables usually mean trouble. I see, that makes sense. They're the kind of people who could see things from nothing. And I mean that in the best way possible. Like, you know the Zen rock garden thing from Japan? They understand the Zen-ness of it. I don't, but that doesn't stop me from thinking it's chill, you know. I'm the same as Georgie. I look at a Zen rock garden and all I see is a bunch of rocks stacked neatly on top of each other. I think you almost got it. Yeah? But I'm sure he and my daughter could talk about it for hours. Too bad he passed away before she was born. I'm sorry to hear that. Don't be. On that note, Barista, you've seen my lighter, right? I'd say I'm pretty well acquainted with it now, yes. My bad. That thing was originally my grandpop's. He bought it sometime after the war ended. It was to commemorate the upcoming new era, he said. In more ways than one. Does it have the spirit of your grandpop's? Was it haunted? Like I was assuming it was? He got honorably discharged due to a severe leg injury he'd never be able to recover from. Ah. At the time, he was living right across the street from the former town hall. For obvious reasons, he couldn't walk far, so it was a good location for him with all the veteran support nearby and all. Right. Now, about that street. You see, my grandpop liked to chat, never liked being alone, that guy. Plus, he pretty much hated his bleak room. So sometimes he'd go and hang out with the street vendors in front of his place. Wait, was that street the flea market? Did Mr. Hyde hit Grandpa while drunk? And now the ghost of Gramps is popping tires? There were all kinds of beings there, along with their pets from all walks of life. That's why he had a lot of stories about the craziest things. Ah, I see. You see, the street's name just came to my mind last night. Can you take a guess what it is? You mean Bourne Street. Uh-huh. It wasn't called that before. That's why the whole thing didn't click for me straight away, but I went through his files and it checks out. Does this mean the vendors he was talking about? Bingo. And you know what? He bought the lighter there. Wow, what a coincidence. Are you sure it's only a coincidence? What do you mean? Come on. Ain't no way they're just coincidences, Barista. Everything is lining up too perfectly if you ask me. Uh-oh. Think about what's happening so far. It was my team that found out about the vandalism before they dumped the whole case on me. Then my car was hit out of everyone's. Right. Then my luck started tanking. The broken mug, the fan, the black cat. Just tons of weird stuff happened in the past week alone, you see. Right. Then one thing led to another. My team was chosen to lead the investigation. And tell me who's in charge of the case? Me. Then there's this Banshee lady, your patron, with some information I wouldn't have thought of. The dead tree stuff, the fairy market, information I wouldn't even have remembered on my own. Right? And now we know why I kept on losing my lighter, right? How are they not connected? Tell me. Well, if you list them all in order like that, I'm telling you, Barista, that place is calling for me. The case is made for me. But they really picked the wrong guy. I'm just really bad at dealing with spooks. They make me question everything I've ever known, you know. But I've always thought you're pretty good at handling ambiguity, officer. Not when it comes to supernatural stuff, because we don't know enough about what's real and what's not. What will they do? Will they hurt us? Do they bring bad luck? Good luck? What's the truth? Who knows? Maybe you should take a day off and catch up on your sleep. Huh? What's that? No, nothing. You know, another patron of mine suggested a documentary to watch. Yeah? The focus was on interesting drinks from around the world. You could find everything from the mundane to the extreme, from local comforts to really special stuff, and I kept thinking one particular drink might interest you. Oh? It is something like a protection drink. It's made of coffee, honey, lemon, and a slew of other ingredients. Protection from what, though? From evil spirits and bad luck, I think. Maybe it'll help ease your mind a bit. Ah, gotcha. But barista, even if the whole situation is haunted, there shouldn't be any evil spirits, right? I wouldn't know, but I might need your lighter. What for? Well, the drink needs to be lit up. I just think your lighter might give it that extra magic boost it needs, compared to just using a regular flame, I mean. What are you gonna make me, anyway? Nah, I trust you. Here. Officer Georgie's lighter. It exudes an interesting feel. What was it? Coffee, lemon, and honey? Okay, then make me this magical drink you've learned, barista. I wasn't paying that much attention. Thank you for being able... Coffee, honey, and lemon. Coffee, honey, lemon. Oh my. Queimada. Oh, wow. All right, let's check Tomato Chill real quick. Still a lactose intolerant cop. This spell-laden, alcohol-imbued Galician drink is known to ward off evil spirits. Just look at it. The drink does light up, huh? Yep, this is special just for you. So don't tell anybody. Roger that. Here you go. Oof, careful. Dang, barista, this is really something else. You sure it's okay to drink? I have no idea. But I'll take responsibility if anything happens. Huh. I'm just being silly, aren't I? Sorry for bothering you with all this stuff, barista. You even made me this crazy drink to make me feel better. Don't say that. I'm always happy to help however I can. Thanks. Man, at least with crooks you can actually deal directly with them, you know? Not the case with apparitions. Not with that attitude. Huh? Okay, who are you? I didn't know I needed to come up with another voice. Damn it. Everything can be caught with a little elbow grease. No, not actually elbow grease. I won't make that mistake again. McQueen? Is that you? Hello, Williams. McQueen. All right, McQueen. We're gonna test out this voice, see if I like it. If I don't, I'll change it to something else and then write down some instructions for myself later. It's been a while. Heh, it is you. And the surprises just keep coming this week. Let me go over there. You know each other? More or less. We were brunch buddies. Brunch buddies? Brunch buddies. I feel like I meant to say brunch buddies in that same serious tone, but I don't like to talk about it. I still get nightmares. I feel ya. I wasn't sure we were gonna make it out alive. I feel like I'm trying to do a bad New York accent. So I'm just gonna put bad New York accent for McQueen. We were truly the lucky ones, without a doubt. I'll just take both of your words for it. Good, because I don't like to talk about it. So what brings you here, detective? Surely it's not the coffee. Secret police reasons. I've not read the briefing yet, but enough about me. Tell me about your supernatural problems. Yeah? You need to bust a ghost? Oh, well, busting might be a bit much. I was just talking to Barista about getting over my fear of that stuff. And ghosts. Something like that. I'm weak against ghostly looking stuff. I get freaked out easily. For example, I admit I got a little spooked about what happened on Bourne Street the other day. Ah, I remember that. Huh. I know very well that unchecked fear leads to prejudice. That's why it's a no-no in my book. It even pains me to admit that out loud. Sometimes the toughest case to crack is ourselves. Other times it's ghosts. How do you do it, detective? Your cases, man. I've probably lost all my hair by now if I were you. I feel like we should have known more about McQueen, and I'm pretty sure this is the first time we've met him in all of Coffee Talk. I try not to think about it all that much. And when I do think about it, I think, who else will do it? Nobody, that's who. Yeah, that makes sense. You know, once you get over the dead part, they're just like you and me. Look, I remember this one case. We were investigating a haunted apartment. This lady, her husband had recently passed away, but wasn't moving on, if you get my drift. Real deadbeat, couldn't take a hint. Anyway, we had to go in and exorcise the place, right? But the husband, he's caught wind and he's retreated into the basement. I won't get into the technicalities of it, but it's harder to get a ghost out of a basement or an attic. It's all about angles, really. I mean, I get it. That used to be his home. All his stuff is still there. It's hard, I get it. So I'm slowly coming down the stairs to try and coax him out. Bam! Next minute, all this romantic music is playing, and the whole place is lit by a spotlight. Basic sensory illusions. Classic ghost tricks. Then, before I know what hit me, I'm sitting at this pottery wheel, and he's behind me, and wait. Isn't this the plot of the 1990 film Ghost? Oh. Maybe? We had a movie night at work, and I dozed off before it started. The story must have slipped into my subconscious. Riveting. Now, to be fair, I've never actually seen... Who the hell are you, Muscles? Hey, detective. Hey, people I don't know. Did you get your important errand sorted? I sure did. Dooley, I can see crumbs stuck to your face. That's just the rain. It's very bready rain. Oh my god. How many billion characters? Oh, jeez. So Dooley, left side of the mouth, kind of dumb. There's filling all over your top. That's blood from a gunshot wound. It's healed up, though. You're literally holding the receipt from the donut shop. That's why they pay you the big bucks, detective. So what I miss? We're talking about getting rid of Officer Williams' fear of ghosts. Hey. Ghosts? Yeah, you're afraid of them, right, Dooley? No idea, never met one. We stopped a ghost riot. Pfft, ghosts aren't real. Okay, today has descended into chaos. So you don't need to be scared of them. Easy. There you go, I guess. Sorry that wasn't much help. Nah. Well, you said that they're just like us. That's a good thing to be reminded of. Exactly, they used to be alive, just like us. As long as they don't try to eat, possess, violently murder you, you should be fine. Very reassuring. Just talk to them. Feel their culture, listen to their issues and spectral wails. Treat them like any other person. See what's on the inside. Which should be easy since you can see through them. I thought you didn't I thought you didn't believe in ghosts. It's best not to overthink anything he says. I certainly don't. Huh. Well, thanks for the advice. I think it'll help. Our pleasure. Now, Dooley, I think we should read that case briefing and find out why we're here. I already did. Oh? Turns out we were meant to arrest the person driving that taxi. Instead of taking it all the way to Seattle, yes. Why? The driver was a chupacabra. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's get out of here, Dooley. Good luck, officer. Thanks, McQueen, a lot. You too, Officer Dooley. Bye, guy. Good luck with your rat problem or whatever. Bye, coffee wizard. Take care. Are they, like, visiting from another game? They feel like characters from another timeline who just happened to stumble in. Like, I'm gonna have to look that up. That was quite something. Well, what do you know, Barista? Looks like my good luck is back. I'm feeling like $1,000,000 now. I'm very glad you do. Thanks anyway, Barista. I really did nothing much. Are you going to be okay? Not okay enough to start thinking about what to do next. I'm done here for the night. You have a good evening, all right? Please keep me updated, officer, and stay safe. Will do. All right, then. Maybe I'll go check the stock and... I was going to say, this would make for a very short night if everybody's already gone. Oh, hello, Miss Riona. Welcome. Hello. How's the traffic out there? It's a mess. There is construction work taking place on Lenora Avenue. Oof. I can imagine the gridlock already. Fortunately, I have no deliveries to make today. That's great. I'm happy you're here. So anything I can make for you this evening? I'd like something for my throat. I would appreciate a cup of tea infused with lemon and a touch of honey. Thank you for being specific. I'm still going to save my game. I noticed I didn't save my game before I made Georgie's spectral treat. But I feel like that's, again, like they specified exactly what I was supposed to make. But then so is she. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I gotta play it safe. A Midsummer Night's Dream. A cup of warm Midsummer Night's Dream for you, miss. That's what we call it here. How whimsical. It's wonderful. Sweet, but well balanced with the lemon, and the slight bitterness of the tea complements the taste. Thank you. You're so very welcome. By the way, you just missed Officer Georgie by a few seconds. Is that so? How is he? He's been thinking about what you said quite a bit, actually. Oh, he's currently dealing with plenty of clues he isn't used to. That's why he's hard at work at the moment. I see. Bad traffic aside, how are you? To be honest, I've had a lot on my mind of late, and I don't know how to express it without sounding pathetic. You know, I'm all ears. Honestly, I'm in the same boat as Riona. That might actually be part of the problem, I'm afraid. Pardon? You know, I've held conversations with more individuals over the past week than I have in the past few years. Is that a good or bad thing? It's troubling. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I don't mean it necessarily in a negative way. It's just, I used to believe that I had settled life objective. But I have been doubting it lately. How come? I finally heard back from Miss Rachel yesterday. Oh, any good news? No. Our fields are admittingly quite different, so I was not expecting much. However, she provided me with some contacts who may be of assistance, even though they had no direct connection to the audience I'm trying to reach. I see. She explained clearly why she thinks I should contact them, however, which I'm thankful for. That's very thoughtful of her. So what's the battle plan? And why are you doubting yourself? In essence, the advice is to slowly increase my network, to make myself known. Oh? Sounds familiar, doesn't it? You can probably guess my concern about it. I think so, but you can give me a refresher. Her concern is that, like, she wanted to essentially get her role traditionally, which would mean audition for the role, be chosen. But if she's going the social media route, that's not the traditional way of getting the role as a soprano. Just so I don't misunderstand, I feel like that would be a shortcut, so to speak. Right. She did, however, remind me of an important and humbling fact. By the way, if she's worried about it being a shortcut, like, I would like to be a published author. I have a finished novel that I'm attempting to query people. If I could get a shortcut to publishing said novel, other than Kindle, for the moment, what would that be? Well, but it's not guaranteed you'll get anything out of it, don't you think? Unless you're really, really sure the so-called shortcut is 100% gonna work. Because you'll have to do way, way more than just making a few calls and waiting for callbacks, you know? I'd say that's a decent impression of her. Oh, that was her doing an impression. Can I do an impression of someone doing an impression? Let me try. Oh, but it's not guaranteed you'll get anything out of it, don't you think? Unless you're really, really sure the so-called shortcut is 100% gonna work. Because you'll have to do way, way more than just make a few callbacks and waiting for callbacks, you know? Wasn't that great. Thank you. After that, she told me a story about her early career experiences, both the good and the bad. Getting noticed is truly only the beginning. Then it is either a matter of letting your talent speak for you, or you go out there to develop connections with the right people. So it doesn't sound like a shortcut. It just sounds like a different path. Like, she's not, like, I think the basic understanding of a shortcut is you have one long path, and then you have another path that is just, will cut past that, a big amount of that length. But this does not sound like it is necessarily a shorter version of the given path. It seems like it's also a long journey, but to the same destination. Even then, there's still no guarantee of success. After listening to her explanation, I respect Miss Rachel's determination. I can certainly see how it worked out for her. But then I was left wondering whether Mr. Lucas meant something similar during our first meeting. Right. I thought it all sounded familiar. Will you try her suggestion then? I don't know. Is it difficult? No more difficult than sending reels to every audition I've come across, and being rejected by every single one. That's, I think, the tough one, is, like, there are certain, like, not every rejection that I've received has been tough, but there's been a couple where I've just been, like, really bummed about getting that rejection. But for some reason, I feel conflicted about it. And I can understand that too, to a point, because, like, as somebody who grew up with before the ebook economy, like, the idea of self-publication doesn't necessarily sit well in comparison to traditional publication. Like, traditional publication has always kind of been the goal. Though, if you look at the book market today, the traditional book market is not exactly very favorable to new authors. Regardless if I'm actually any good at writing or not, the actual new authors that get published have a very, very minute share of what is being sold on a regular basis. Removing myself from the equation, like the big market share, like I want to say a good like 90 to 95% of the market share is to like the big million copy selling books, whereas like a lot of newer authors are lucky to sell in the thousands even. Although perhaps it was more like a necessity. Did something happen? He was stuck. Pardon? Actually, he posted about it on social media last night. I did read it on social media last night. And then she responded. Oh? I might have seen it. Did you? I came across it when I was updating my schedule and responded out of concern. Then he called me almost immediately. He was loud. All sounds in order. And extremely drunk? Really? He denied it at first, but it was too obvious not to notice. He told me he was walking aimlessly, deep in thought, and entered Cary Park without realizing he had done so. Must have been some deep thinking he was doing, because I think it rained pretty hard last night. Well, I wouldn't know. The bus to and from there is currently not operating after 10 p.m., which is why I sent him a message informing him of that fact, as he seemed to be unaware of it. Right? So he called me to ask if there was any other mode of public transit nearby. Wouldn't it have been easier for him to just call a cab? He told me he wanted to know the city better. At midnight? Why not? After all, you operate your business after dark yourself. Touché. Perhaps he didn't want to go home yet. And I might be mistaken here, but I thought he doesn't like drinking. Wasn't it partying? Nevertheless, I think last night was quite different. It appears he had dinner with his team, and he needed the extra courage in order to negotiate with them about his proposed new direction. Oh. I see. I suppose it didn't go as expected. I don't know. There was the picture of his team, and they were all having pizza, seemingly having a good time. Perhaps. And I know that feeling all too well. Miss... However, he said he will keep negotiating until they reach a compromise. That's good. Is it, though? Miss Rachel told me about the hoops she had to jump through at the beginning of her career with her teammates as well. Likewise, Mr. Lucas has had to work hard to obtain approval from his team for his actions. How can they still be so positive? What do you mean? I just cannot picture myself convincing others to give me a chance like that. I almost wanted to ask, why do we have to be at the mercy of others in order to succeed or fail? Can't talent speak for itself? We can hope. I mean, think about media as a whole. All of it. All of media. Think about what gets shared the most, the easiest. Like, for a while it was pictures. Right now, apparently on Instagram, it's Reels. Reels seem to get promoted more than pictures. But a picture is the easiest thing that a person can see and interpret in the shortest amount of time. Reels technically would take a little bit longer. But I think that's also why the entire TikTok thing of wait for it kind of like emerged, because they want people to watch to the end of the video, because the hook is at the end of the video. But if you don't watch to the end of the video, you're not going to see the cool thing, and then you might miss out on it, and thusly the whole idea of wait for it started to show up on all these videos. But this, like, photos and short videos are some of the most digestible forms of content. The next would be like your Twitter posts. And if you look at the majority of Twitter posts, And I feel like the best reason for why they're under 250 characters is so that like it retains itself in a very small amount of space in your phone. Also, more people aren't really going to read several paragraphs of text. It's very easy to read, like just a few sentences. Now, there are problems with that because a picture, like there's a whole phrase, a picture says 1,000 words. And a Twitter post at 250 or 150 characters isn't even going to have 100 words. So without even 100 words to describe your issues, that could lead to a lot of misinterpretation, and it has led to a lot of misinterpretation. But when it comes to easily shareable, easily digestible media, like if I wanted to share a Twitter post, if I wanted to reply to somebody's Twitter post, it is very easy for people to see it, read it, consume it, respond to it. The book that I wrote is 100,000 words. What am I gonna do? Stand behind them as they read the book for several hours, and then I'm just like, wait for it? It's really gonna pop in chapter 9, which is 70,000 words from now. Like, there are definitely... Can't talent speak for itself? In the case of Riona, she wants to be a singer. When you see... Let's say you have a reel or a video that starts... Like, you would generally have, like, a clickbaity title. Maybe Riona's doing a cover of a popular song at the time, and somebody clicks on it, not necessarily because they want to listen to her song, but they want to... her talent, but they want to listen to that song, but in different variation. And then they stick around because they hear her voice. And then the talent speaks for itself. Or the reel, the talent speaks for itself. But also the type of media and the length of the media makes it more consumable. But if I truly believed that, with the number of rejections I've received so far, I should have stopped a long time ago, shouldn't I? Same. I think I'm under 100 rejections for my queries. But also, to be fair, nobody has read my full novel yet. So a lot of these people who have rejected my queries have only read like the first 5 pages, if at that, or just the description. So it's hard to tell. It's hard for me to necessarily say, is my writing bad, or is it too much of a slow start? I don't know. Right, that's why it doesn't work that way. What do you mean? To let talent speak for itself, we would all have to have the same standards. I see what you mean. Art would cease to be art if it were standardized, wouldn't it? However, doesn't that imply that everything still depends on the whims of the individual judging you at the moment? Unfortunately, yes. How does someone like Miss Rachel or Mr. Lucas manage to be fine with that? Huh. Perhaps because they don't see it as the be-all and end-all. What do you mean? Rather than viewing them as judges with the authority to determine their fates, perhaps they simply see them as hills to either overcome or avoid, if that makes sense. Just a matter of perspective as to where the power lies. That's the thing. Like, when it comes to genre, think about your favorite movie, your favorite novel, your favorite video game. Coffee Talk, for example. Episode 2, Hibiscus and Butterfly. The type of video game it is for, the type of video game, the type of gamer that it is for, it's not for every video game player. There are definitely people out there who would say that they're not interested in the Coffee Talk series because they want something that has more gameplay. They want something that requires more skill. They want something where you would have more choices. They might have But for somebody who's more interested in the visual novel aspect, somebody who is just interested in the story, the characters, there is somebody like myself, but there are also the people who skip cutscenes. However mad they might be, they would definitely not be interested in this. So it's like, you're not going to be able to advertise yourself to everybody. Even if you're good at what you're doing, not everybody is going to be interested in what you're doing. And ultimately, it's tough to determine exactly how do you get your creation in front of somebody who has the power and authority to spread that creation to other people like yourself who are also interested in that same thing. But it's not easy to climb those hills, especially if you've never done it before. Therefore, it's good to try and find out what works for you, or ask for guidance or assistance even. Because one can't possibly know every single way to overcome obstacles, or be able to safely recognize warning signs without first learning about them from others. Is that what you're trying to say? I'll go with it. I see. Still, Miss Riona? Yes. Sorry, I got a bit lost in my thoughts. You're fine, I promise. But speaking of Mr. Lucas, what happened to him after the call? I picked him up and drove him home. Whoa. But I thought you're located in Bellevue. I am. But I still had unfinished business in the downtown area. Moreover, he suddenly began singing quite loudly near the end of our call, which led me to conclude that it would be best for me to go and fetch him. I see. How was his singing, in your opinion? It wasn't too bad. If not for the fact that he was screaming most of the lyrics, that is. Well, his hoodie was soaked when I arrived, so he had to take it off before getting into my car. Thankfully, the water did not completely soak through his shirt, so he remained relatively dry. However, I still had to lay down the seat covers as his fur got rather wet. Hope he didn't get sick then. I should go now. Alright, will you be okay? I have a lot to think about. Thank you for being patient with my concerns, Brista. No problem at all, anytime. Have a good evening then, Barista. Come back again soon. We have not made that. Friday, September 29th, 2023. Alien sightings increase. Is this an invasion? At least it's pretty, researcher responds over alleged algae invasion. Dwarfira Tech teams up with Golem X Industries to produce self-healing concrete technology. Self-healing concrete sounds like the start of a Doctor Who episode in which the concrete starts to heal too much and then take over the city. Bailey's, why am I looking all the way over there? Alright, we'll have to find out what's going on next time. For now, though, got any suggestions for someone to play next? Leave them down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have yourselves a good night.